Hello, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Gentleman Masterclass. I am your host, Marc.antomattei, and before we get today's video started, I got to go ahead and give my new books a plug. The Ideal Bartender by Tom Bullock and Julian's Recipes by Julian Anderson. Both of these are the Centennial Edition, available in hardcover and paperback formats on Amazon.com now. So, getting on with today's episode, I have to do a very quick introduction here because I was a guest on Austin Daniels' brand new YouTube channel called Watch Symposium Live Streams. And as a guest on there, I was talking about wanting to buy my first Rolex, and him as well as some other guests had came on to give me some advice to try to steer me, I guess so-called, in the right direction on where I should be heading for my first purchase. And when I got on the program initially, there was a lot of trouble there. I was having some audio issues, with my audio interface, and I was getting some feedback. So it took quite a bit of time for me to get actually onto the show. And then once I got onto the show and started facing these issues, it took me a little bit of time to sort this out. So what I'm doing here is I'm presenting this show to you from his channel, by the way, and it has been edited down just to show you all the pertinent information and to cut out all that extraneous stuff of me taking so long to get onto the program and editing out all those really bad parts that just had absolutely nothing to do with watches. But quick shout out to Austin Daniels. I thank you for bringing me onto the program. What I'm going to do, down inside the description, if you have a look, I'm going to leave a link to his main watch channel, which is just called Austin Daniels. He only talks about Rolexes as well as some other watches, but mostly Rolex. And to his brand new channel, Watch Symposium Live Streams. It's only streaming live interviews and things of such. So anyways, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Video starts now.
All right, welcome to Watch Symposium Live Streams. I'm Austin, and if all goes as planned today, we'll be talking to a guest, and his name is Marc.antomattei, and he has a YouTube channel, Gentleman Masterclass, and I'll throw a link in the comment section of this video once it finishes, and you guys can check it out. It's got a lot of interesting videos on there, some whiskey reviews, I want to say. He's a big whiskey guy. He's not quite in the green room yet. We'll see if he shows up. But let me tell you a little bit about him. So he's a whiskey fan, lives in Japan, all right? And one interesting video that I watched of his the other day is why I'm not going to date any more older women. All right, it's a cool video. Also, he's got a watch video on there where he's looking at a Q Timex, or the Timex Q, as I like to put it. I should have one right here. I've got one in the next room. And he was looking at that watch, and then there's like another version of it. In fact, there's a bunch of versions now. That's what happens, right? When a company hits a home run, they just make different ones. But there's like an all blue, like mechanical version. He was looking at that, and anyway, we'll have to ask him if he got that. But he's on the fence and about this Rolex purchase, and so we're going to talk to him about that. Now, it's just as well he's not here because we've got some housekeeping to do. Housekeeping, all right? Just some sort of odds and ends that I don't think would go in a regular video. Hey, the Dr. Feelgood is here. Good to see you. William's here. Hi, guys. I'm glad some people are watching, so thank you. And it is my pleasure to introduce to the channel the gentleman in Japan. Here he comes. Marc, how are you, man?
Yeah, hello, sir. I was having some audio feedback backstage, but
No problem. You're sounding great. All right. So you got the mic going on. I
Oh,
got the.
I'm sounding great, but I'm having some double feedback trying to figure out how to fix that.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure. You got the earphones on. Is it? It's not coming out some speaker, is it?
No, it's coming out of my headphones. Let me see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is going to be my only interjection. I'm very sorry if you hear me overtalk somebody on the video. I just want to apologize now. It's not because I'm an asshole. It's just because, like I said before, I was having some audio issues. Even when I fixed the headphone issue, I could hear everybody speaking, but they were very faint. And so there were times that I was over talking somebody, not knowing that they were talking at the same time as me. So it seems a little bit awkward. I'm not a jerk. I'm not an asshole. Just want you guys to know what it is.
Gentlemen, Mark, thumbs up. Are we good? Okay, I'm gonna add. Let's see. I'm gonna add both of these guys. Okay, we got. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Austin.
I guess I'm good enough.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, so we got. I'm gonna call. Let's see, Dr.
A little
Rolex.
bit of a delay, but I'm gonna.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. To me at least. So okay, so Dr. Rolex is here, and I'm gonna call you Dr. Rolex today because I'm gonna call the gentleman Mark. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Everybody more or less has their audio issues done. Now, before Mark, and I'm talking, yeah, Mark. Okay. We're here. Do you want to say anything, any sort of, you don't need to introduce yourself extensively, but do you just want to say a few words about like who you are and maybe something about your channel, about what you're looking for, about anything that might pertain to this first watch purchase or anything that you want us to know about you? Anything you want to say?
Right. So the channel itself, there's not really much that I do on YouTube that's pertaining to my first purchase of this watch, but just to give the channel a quick plug, Gentleman Masterclass is it's just a men's lifestyle channel. I talk about anything from, I guess, wristwatches to straight razor shaving to clothes to shoes to anything, just anything in general. And about the watch purchase itself, well, about me, I think that would add a whole lot more clarity. Just with me in general, I'm a lower middle class, upper poor man. So I'm going into my first Rolex purchase with that in mind, and I think everybody here should keep that in mind as well. Not a lot of money to spend, but enough to get something.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And people were throwing out some comments. The Submariner, that's a great first watch. That's an expensive watch,
Yeah,
man. That's like
that's
like a 10 grand watch these days. And so finances, when I say finances, like the amount of money he has to spend at the moment is going to be a big factor here. Okay. All right. And then of course we got the Rolex PhD. He's got his own channel. Both of you guys feel free, once this goes up on YouTube, to make a comment and plug your channel and put a link to your channels in, and I'll be sure to prove that. Both of you guys, please do that. And all right. And so what do you want to say anything, Rolex PhD, before we talk about?
No, I mean, I think, the Submariner already came up, so I think we're off to a good start. We've got the right type of watch in mind. So, let's go from there.
Okay. So Mark, are you thinking of a one and done? I mean, is this the first of many, or is this just your one watch and then that's it?
No, it's not a one watch and I'm done sort of deal. My girl watch is going to be the Omega Speedmaster 1861 with the Hasselblad glass, and the professional, not the reduced. I came close to getting the reduced, but I read that the servicing on that is a pain in the ass, and you might as well just get a whole new watch instead of getting it serviced. So, trying to save money on that is really not saving money, because you'll be paying more in the long run just to get it replaced. So,
if you don't mind me cutting in,
yes,
it's not going to satisfy you the same way the professional will. I actually bought that watch
the same way.
Yeah, I sent it back. I returned it in 2 days, so it didn't work out. And just go for the professional.
That's interesting. Okay, so that's your Grail, and new. I want to say, what are those, like 6 or 7,000?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Okay,
That's right.
and
But I
then
mean, I'm okay with used. I'm
used.
not
Can you get them for like?
I'm not hard to please in that manner, just as long as it's in good condition. I've
Okay,
seen
and
some
so
pretty bad ones. When I inspect a Speedmaster Professional, that's something you got to look at in person. I can't just order on Chrono 24 and
right.
hoping for the best. Because man, that glass. You really got to look at it.
Yeah, you can clean it up as well, though. But that's interesting. Okay, now we should probably talk about what you're thinking of, because I mean, if that's your Grail, I don't even know why you're looking at this watch.
Well, all
So
right,
so
all
let's
right.
talk
So
about
there's the thing.
let,
I would like to have that Grill watch, the Speedmaster
mhm.
Professional. That's one watch, and I would like to have
But before we
at the
talk about
very
this,
least at
Mark, if I
least
can
one Rolex.
interrupt you, because I feel like we're dancing around this, and everybody's like, "What is he thinking of getting?" Tell us, damn it. Okay, tell us what you're thinking of getting.
All right. One Speedmaster Professional. That's always going to be on the menu, and
Uh-huh.
at least one Rolex. This could be it, or it might not be it.
Okay.
This
Eh,
is going to be it if I don't become more successful in the future with whatever endeavors that I'm going to do in my life. But should I become more successful, then I guess my Grell Rolex would be a Submariner. But that's not on the menu until I achieve the success that I want to achieve, and then I'll get that watch. So that's further down the line.
Okay, and the watch you were asking me about, what's the tell us, what is that watch?
1967 Oyster Perpetual, no date. Reference number is 1002.
All right.
And that's a black dial.
Okay, so we got some examples here, and I'll just pull this one up right here. This looks to be a gray dial. All right, and this is a 34 millimeter watch. And okay, let me tell you guys a little bit about the watch. All right, so it's okay. So this is a 1967. The one you're
Yeah,
thinking
that
about
could be
getting?
the same. It's not necessarily. Is that a gray dial or a black dial?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah. This
tell,
is
but
just an example. This is just an example.
okay.
So, right. Okay. So, okay. So there were this reference started in the 1950s, ran all the way up until the 1980s. Started off, I want to say, I think there were 3 movements in it, but I know the later ones were the movement 1560, and then in 1965 it changed to the 1570, which is the same movement that was in like subs. I want to say like the 4-digit subs, and the 1016 had that movement. So if yours, the one that you're looking at, is a 1967, it would have the newer of those movements. So the difference was the earlier one had a beat rate of 18,000 beats per hour, and the new one was up to 19,800 beats, and it got hacking as well. So this will be a hacking movement, and it's an automatic movement, and it's a really good, I mean, it was good enough to be in the 1016 and all Rolex watches. And so movement wise, excellent movement, but obviously it's older. This watch is a 34 millimeter watch. It's got not sapphire crystal. It's got the plastic
It's like
crystal.
plastic.
Right. Here, let me go. This is not such a great listing.
So what year is this from? What year is this watch made from?
1967. That he's thinking about.
That's
getting.
an old watch, man. Jeez.
Yeah. What's the price of the one you're looking at?
It's about $4,000 flat. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing a lazy conversion of Japanese yen to US dollars. That's not the actual price, but let's just say 4,000. It's
Okay,
about
is it
4,000.
400,000 yen?
400,000 yen. That's correct.
Hey Siri, what's 400,000 Japanese yen in US dollars?
It's probably like 3,600.
400,000 Japanese yen is $3,632.
So yeah, about 3,600 USD. Okay. So, and is this box and papers?
No, there's no box, no papers.
What? Oh,
But the watch is in pristine condition.
But has it been polished?
I think so. I would
That's
assume
why.
so.
That's why it's in pristine condition.
Yes.
I'd have to see it. I almost guarantee it's been polished, and that's why it looks pristine and
A
no
watch that
bugs.
old
Even
has
the
been
glass may have
polished.
been changed out. It might
Yeah.
be a sapphire glass now. It might be. It might be.
Okay. Yeah, but then it's not original. Okay, so let's talk about the logistics of this. Now, this is not something you're going to want to swim in. And again, it's a 34 millimeter watch. Let's talk about, we're going to attack a couple of these angles, and look at this. Hold on a minute. This one right here, it's a little bit more, and it looks to have the service papers and the guarantee. Look at this, right? I mean, I think I've already found a better watch for you.
Yeah,
But
I think you did.
all right, there's a couple, and we'll look at some examples. But first, let me ask you about the size. Okay, so this is a 34 millimeter watch, and that was the first question you had when you contacted me. You said, "Is that too small?" And
Is it too small? But man, yeah. All right, we can spend some time on this topic a little bit as well. I'm so embarrassed to tell the whole world this, but man, out of all the people that you meet inside your life, I'm probably top 10, one of the skinniest people that you will ever meet. My wrist size is frail 16 centimeters, which is like 6.3 inches. But, I mean, I guess even with that being small, what makes my arm look really small is that I got some small forearms. My forearms are not that big. So even with me being as skinny as I am, top 10 skinniest guys that you met in your life, with me putting it on my wrist, I'm just looking at it and I'm wondering, is it is it too small? It even looks small to me, but maybe
I
it's
don't
just
think it
that
would be
I'm
too
used to
small for
wearing
you.
37, 39, 40 millimeter size watches. So maybe it's just that I'm not used to looking at it on my wrist, and that's what it is. Maybe after a weekend, I might warm to it a lot more, but just the first time to put on a 34 mil was like, man, this thing looks tiny.
Have you tried one on before?
Yes, I have. I went to the store and I was there for about an hour just looking at it on my wrist. I
And
should
you
have
felt like
told
it
you,
was too
Austin.
small?
I sent an email to you, and maybe not the email address that you were expecting, but I sent it to you, and yeah, I put a couple of pictures of me with it on the wrist in there, but I guess it's not that important to show on camera.
maybe. Oh yeah, I didn't check my email this morning. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so yeah, let me talk about that for a second. So I think the doctor is right. It's not too small. I mean, let me just say that 34 millimeters. 34 millimeter watch is considered a unisex watch. I mean, I stick to that. There are guys that will tell you that's a women's watch. It really depends on the guy, but I think if we're just going to be honest about it, then that is the unisex range. And then from 36 on up, I think you could, women can wear those watches as well, but that's, more, I guess a lot of people would say that's more proper watch for a man. But I think this is absolutely fine if it fits you. But listen to what you just said. You said, I think even with my wrists being skinny, it looks too small. I mean, you're even second guessing it now, right? That's a red flag, man.
No,
Because
no. It's just that I'm not used to ever seeing a 34 millimeter size watch. So maybe it's just maybe I have to get used to it. That's all.
okay.
The thing
There's
is,
no
the
way that they're going to let
seed
me
is
borrow the watch
planted.
for a day.
Yes, the seed is planted. The doctor is right. Once the seed, once the honeymoon period wears off, and it'll wear off really quickly. It's going to start. You're going to start thinking to yourself, is it too small? You're going to look at it. Is it too small? Do I? And then if you have any sort of social media presence, people are going to feed that. Okay. People are now, I tell you right now, if I got a 34 millimeter watch, what do you think viewers would say? They'd be like, you got your wife's watch, man.
Yeah, I know what they would say, but
and look, it doesn't matter. You got to black that out, but it's tough. And we live in a social world, and people's opinions shouldn't matter, but they do. And so to me,
to move up to at least a 36 mil, that's some more substantial money that you have to add on top of what I'm willing to pay just to get that.
we're going to look at some options in a minute, but let me just ask you, all things being equal, money aside, would you prefer a 34 or a 36 millimeter watch?
Well, if money's no issue, obviously 36. Yeah, definitely.
Then you cannot settle. All right. You cannot settle, especially when we're talking differences in a price of like $1,000. And that's not chump change. Okay. But what do you need to get it for now? Right. I mean, if you waited a year or 2 years.
I don't need to get it now, but something was calling me to get it. Oh man, this is an embarrassing story. On Saturday night, I kid you not, I went to, oh, hello.
Hi, how are you, man?
Hey.
Sorry, continue your story. Don't let me interrupt you.
All right. Saturday night, I went to bed early at 9 o'clock. I woke up in the middle of the morning at 1 a.m. Something was chipping at my shoulder. It said, look at Rolex watches. I got on Chrono 24 and ended up looking at watches for about 3 hours. Went back to sleep again at 5 a.m. in the morning. And then when I woke up, I said, man, I got to do something about this. And started researching further. The following day that I had woken up, I had spent 12 hours just browsing the internet, looking at prices, looking at my options. And I've kind of dwindled it down to the Oyster Perpetual. No date, or date is possible as well. There were a few other watches that I was looking at as well, but I canceled them out for one reason or another. Things that have these obscure names that are just like Rolex Oyster only, that's not Perpetual, or it just says Rolex Oyster Date or the Air King. I didn't like those too much. And anything that has the word precision written at the bottom is just, I wasn't feeling that too much. Just being kind of a graphic designer, I just didn't like the font of the precision at the bottom. I would rather it say, what does it say at the bottom of the watch? Superlative chronometer, officially certified. It looks good, and I would prefer the watch to say that. Maybe it's not a big issue, but I guess it is to me. What is something else? I looked into some date just, but I don't like the date just because I don't like the bezels on that. I don't like the whatever you call it, the ripples, the waves, the ridges. I don't like that. I don't like.
Well, you can get a date just
bracelet
that has the same bezel as the Oyster Perpetual and the same bracelet. You can get essentially an Oyster Perpetual with a date, and it's just called a date just.
Yeah, that's right.
If you like the idea of a date
as well, that's also an option.
Okay, so you like the, and by the way, let me just interrupt.
All right, to keep it simple, I like the simplicity of this watch. The Jubilee bracelet is too much, and it's too jangly, and it's too happening. This is simple. The face is simple. The bezel's simple. Everything is simple. I like it. It speaks Rolex to me when I look at this.
Okay. All right. So you like the smooth bezel. You don't like the fluted bezels or the engine turn bezels. That's too much for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. Okay. So let me just make a quick announcement. Apparently there's a fake watch Cardinal person posting something. I haven't banned them yet. I'm going to work on that, but take that to note. Okay, Marco's not going rogue. All right, yeah. I don't know who he's banning yet.
By the way, Austin, if you want, you just have to scroll up in chat. If you hover over their comment, there's like 3 dots at the top right.
Okay,
if you click on that, you can ban the person through StreamYard instead of opening up.
All right, so which one is it? Okay, because watch, what does it say? Watch Cardinal.
Right, because you'll see it has like a black band.
If Austin pays me, I will come on.
Right, I never typed that.
Yeah. All right, okay.
You know, Marco, you made it when you have imposters.
Yeah, but it's just annoying. You know what I mean? It's just
okay, so block user. I think we did it. Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
thank you.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Sorry for hijacking the stream.
No
Hello,
problem.
everybody.
We got to clean house as we do this, right? All right. So Mark. Okay. Bottom line, you're not into the fluted bezel of the date just. You're not.
Yeah, that's right. Fluted bezel. That would be the word. Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at some options with Rolex, and what I'm going to do is now one thing that before I type this in, I would want to go 36, but I would also want to go with a sapphire crystal. Now, I don't know if you're going to be swimming with this watch, probably not, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to? You're not going to be able to do that as confidently if it's got
with the plastic face on these older watches, isn't it possible to get it switched out for a sapphire crystal? Is that possible?
Yeah, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You just want it to come with a sapphire crystal, because then you don't have like a Frankenwatch, right? And look, I don't know. I just don't think that's a good option. Okay, I think paying a little bit extra for one with the proper crystal, you know, keep it as original as possible.
That's another one of those things. That's another one of those things that'll eat at you over time. You may think it's okay at first and you'll settle for it, but then over time, once the honeymoon wears off, you're going to start looking at it like, oh man, I should have just sprung for the, you know, the newer one with the original sapphire and original everything. You know, it's just one of those things.
So look at this. This is, I don't know if you like the dial on this, but this is about $500 more. Okay. And this is a 36 millimeter watch. Interesting dial. I mean, I'm not much for Romans, but I actually like this.
Yeah,
and
I like this one.
I like
well.
this one.
Yeah, it's got the Oyster bracelet. Look at that. And of course, it's the cheapest one. It would fit you. It's got a 17 centimeter bracelet. Oh, actually, this is 34, it says.
Yeah, you're going to be finding 34 millimeters all the way up until like, I don't know, like
okay, this is a 15200. Okay, all right. Actually,
they make this watch in 36 millimeters with a blue dial as well.
Okay,
and the blue dial is beautiful.
When did they start making this watch in 36 millimeters?
That's a good question. I don't know, but
yeah,
we're going through, and this is a 36 millimeter Datejust, and so to me. Let me just, before we look at it, let me just say that the 34 millimeter, you know, the Perpetuals and the 6694s, they're cool budget options if you want to get in. But to me, they just don't cross the line into like proper, like non-compromising watch. And I think with this one right here, even though it's more expensive, you are into a non-compromise watch. I mean, this holds its own with a sub because it's just like different. And so looking at this one, I'm not a fan of that dial. What do you think about the Roman?
No, I'm not a fan of the dial as well.
Okay, just looking at it though.
The Roman numerals on that previous white dial that you showed me, that was okay. That was a lot more simpler, not in your face like this.
But. Yeah, that was a 34 millimeter, but still, I just would go for the 36. There's something mentally that is, I think, gonna be nice. Let me just see. This is wow. This is F serial, and look at the price on that. That's like $1,000 more. Okay, and I don't know if it comes with box papers. Comes with no box, no papers. Okay. Now another option or advantage, rather, with something like this. This is a 5-digit. It's going to have the newer movement, the 3135 movement, and you'll be able to have this serviced at Rolex for sure. I'm not sure about that 67 watch, maybe not. This is going to be water resistant. Any of these watches we're looking at, except for this one right here up at the top. Oh no, this might be as well. This is a 5-digit. And the question is the prices go up really quickly. Okay. So we have, and again, he's looking at a 4,000, just so you guys understand, a 400,000 yen watch. All right. And so it goes up pretty quickly. This is exceeding what I guess he has to work with at the moment by about $1,000. This by about 1,280. But let's just look at it. Okay. Are you game for looking at it?
Yep.
All right.
It's 34 mil.
Okay, so this is a U serial.
You're going to get caught by a lot of those.
Caught about what?
You're going to get caught with a lot of these 34 millimeters.
Oh, this is a 34 millimeter?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. All right, hold on. Oh, okay. Here, let me just make sure. I don't think it is, but
no, it is. Yeah, it actually says in the title.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But can I ask? Sorry, I'm joining the stream late. Why not spring for something a little bit more modern in 30? If you're looking at something 36 mil, right? A 36 mil Datejust from an AD is not necessarily that hard to get, and I think you could definitely leverage it into like a steel professional model. And you know, if you want to keep it, you can keep it. If not, you could probably sell it for a nice, healthy profit as well.
Yeah, go ahead and respond to that, Mark.
Oh, just listening. Have nothing to say about that. Just
Yeah.
man,
So,
just originally, I had started off with getting something really vintage, 300,000 yen, but the options out there were well, there was options, but I just wasn't satisfied with them. So I threw on an extra 100,000 yen, and options got a little bit better. And obviously, if I throw on another 100,000 yen, it'll get a little bit better. But the point is, where is going to be the stopping point? Because I can't just keep throwing on an extra 100,000 yen. Then I might as well just go ahead and get a Submariner, which I don't have the money for. But
Well, the
there
thing
has
is,
to be a
Marco,
cutoff point somewhere.
yeah, Marco, you made a good point. Like with 36 millimeter Rolexes, you don't actually benefit that much from going pre-owned because you're not actually saving that much money these days. Back a couple of years ago, you could save a few grand, but nowadays they're essentially the same price.
Right. And at least you have the factory warranty. You have a watch with your name on, well, it doesn't have your name on the papers anymore, but it's your
Yeah.
watch, right? Straight from the AD. You don't have any problems maybe with a kind of loose bracelet or maybe a dial that's been tampered with, because you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's just much more like a headache-free process. And, 36 mil Datejust probably isn't
Right.
it isn't that difficult to get.
That's actually one of the problems here in Japan. They're really hard to find, especially in the configuration you want. So I think if you were to talk to the manager of an authorized dealer outside of Tokyo, you could probably make it happen, because it's not like you're asking for a Steel Sports. But we're gonna look at an option in a minute. But you could get on an Oyster bracelet the brand new latest version for, I want to say less than 800,000 yen. Okay. Less than 800,000 yen, which is a lot. But like Marco and the doctor mentions, I mean, you're going to get that 5-year warranty. It's going to be brand new. I mean, you're the first owner, zero problems. It would be a real buzz to get a brand new Rolex, have that experience. Or you could save a little bit. And looking at this one, now this seems to be a pretty good option if you like this, because look at the price.
That's a beautiful watch.
Right. It's box papers. It's got a Jubilee bracelet. So that's a problem. This is probably about, I want to say 2,000 less than its modern counterpart. Now, if it was me, I mean, look, you got some looseness right there, and it's not perfect, but like if you had to have a Datejust as soon as possible, right, then I guess this would be fine. But if you were to start visiting authorized dealers and while you did that, save your money, then you could maybe get something like I'm about to show you. And we're going to go right into the.
And even while you're bringing that up, Addison in the chat brings up a great point, which is OP 36 millimeter is, probably even cheaper than the 36 Datejust. And it's not that long away, as long as you're not asking, for your kind of out there colors, right? If you're asking for like black dial or silver, you can probably get those, relatively easily, I would imagine.
Yeah, but Marco, you're probably right about the non-colorful dials, but the last time I was at my AD, I brought that up. I said, look, what if I just wanted an OP like the blue dial or something, the bright blue, not the turquoise? And he was like, we're not getting those. We don't have any. We've gotten 2 since they announced the new OP, and we're just not getting Oyster Perpetuals.
So I will let you in on a little insider secret that I was told by an insider, but I can't reveal the source. And that is, so Rolex is allowing dial swaps on their OPs, right? So they're going to allow you to swap.
Oh man.
Austin, you theorized that.
No, I have a video dropping tonight about that. All right.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
No, it's already uploaded now. That's okay.
Okay.
People who come here, yes.
So the dials, right? They're very backed up on the dials currently, and that's why the OPs have been so hard for them to get. But they're starting to come out now more and more, and the plan is to really ramp up. But the problem is that you had these dealers, right, who were turning in, their silver dial, their black dial OPs for like a Tiffany blue or a yellow, knowing they could like double their profit instantly, right? So that's kind of the point. I think in a little bit you'll actually be able to get OPs more loosely, and you could still do the dial swaps, which is pretty cool.
That would be crazy,
Right,
but you know who's gonna suffer from that is people who buy or who bought like the Tiffany blue OP at the market price that it is, like 12 grand or something, because those prices are gonna go down.
Yeah, this is exactly what my video is dropping at midnight Japan tonight. In fact, right after I get off this stream, I'm gonna upload it because it's out. Okay.
Sorry about that, Austin. I didn't mean to steal your thunder. My bad, man.
People deserve that scoop. If you're watching me now, you deserve that scoop. So thank you. But I'll drop that video the second I get off here. Okay, nice. So here's what. Okay, so all steel. All right, and you're gonna want the Oyster. Okay, you're gonna want to stick with this because this is the cheapest, and then this is gonna make it a little bit cheaper. And let's just, if you could choose, Mark, what? Here, let's see. I think we can select. I don't know why it's. We should be able to. Here we go. Okay. What dial do you think you would want to go for?
Champagne is nice. White, black. Those three.
Okay. The white has the Romans. Are you okay with that? Okay. There's no champagne.
But yeah, champagne black. Is two-tone.
No, yeah.
You have that silvery dial that's kind of similar, similar vibe.
Of all these, which do you think you'd go for?
I'd probably go with the black first and the champagne second.
Okay. All right. So there we go. And this is this price right here. Now, this is obviously 381,000 more than this 1002 you're thinking about. Okay. So it's about $3,500
double the
more.
Price for 2 more mil.
Well, no. But it's not 2 more mil. It's brand new. It's the state of the art new movement. It's got the blue parachrome spring. It's got the 3235 movement. It's got the 5-year warranty. You're the first owner, unpolished box papers, the experience of buying from Rolex. I mean, think it's $3,500 more, but is it worth $3,500 more? For me, it is. What about for you guys? It depends on the person. For me, oh yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, let's just say hypothetically, this isn't necessarily true, but let's just say a Rolex lasts 80 years. We give it a lifespan of 80 years. That watch, that OP from 1967 is pretty much halfway through its life, whereas this watch is just starting its life. You've got 80 years of this watch. So the price per year of ownership is actually less than the OP from 1967.
Right.
Yeah. Marco, what do you think about that? Which would, I mean, obviously, look, to say to somebody, hey, just put $3,500 on top. That's we can't we have to preface this by saying that's kind of impossible. But if you were to take that money, put it away, and get this in 3 years,
I could. All right. So that's another thing. If I was to accumulate this money, which is quite possible I could do, but wasn't willing to spend that much, then I might as well just take that money and go look for a used Submariner.
Well,
so here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
No, you, Marco, it's all you.
Yeah, so here's the thing, Mark, right? And we're looking at like 34 mil Datejust, 36 mil like OPs and stuff like this. But if you're really looking for a Submariner, right? Like, my problem is will this really do it for you?
Well, I mean, I'm not really looking for one. It just so happens that,
the itch? Because that's the problem, right? It's like you don't want to buy what we call a placeholder in the collection, right? It's like, oh, I bought this, but then I really wanted this. Because that watch will never scratch the itch for you. You know what I mean? It'll never do it for you. Even if, obviously, it's a lot more cost prohibitive to get a Submariner, for example. Like, my thing is have you really clued in, like, this is what you want specifically, or
for an entry-level Rolex, I'm happy with Datejust.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, not Datejust, Oyster Perpetual, let's say.
So you're just as happy with an Oyster Perpetual as with a Submariner?
I would be, yes.
You don't like either one more than the other?
I mean, I like one a little bit more than the other, but it's very insignificant. I mean, I love them both.
Okay, fair enough. So, but the thing is, even with a used sub, you're looking at another $3,000 on top of this.
Yeah.
You know, you can probably find the worst Submariner in the world, the worst condition, and
Right,
maybe
no
you'll get
box
it
or
for
papers.
no box
Yeah,
papers,
so all right,
unknown
it all
service
goes back
history.
to the beginning. At this point in time, what I can afford, there has to be a cutoff point, not just keep adding more money to move
Right,
up to the next thing. And then, oh, well, if I get this, then I might as well just put a little bit more and then just get the super expensive thing that I never intended to get at this point in time from the get-go. Just
the slippery slope.
stick to entry level. Just leave it at that.
I think that's why Marco, I think he touches on something like you don't want to settle. All right. And so you can say what you need to do is you need to decide, okay, what would be your one and done sort of dream Rolex? Okay. I mean, what would it be? Would it be like a,
All right,
sub
one and done.
GMT?
It would have to be a Submariner, yes.
Okay.
But I mean,
pre-ceramic or
I'm not
ceramic?
really working in that league financially yet, so I don't want to get any.
Hey, look, Austin,
myself into
I'm
that.
sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm sorry, but I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. So thank you for having me on.
Hey,
And
for showing up, man.
gentlemen,
Oh,
yeah,
thank you
of
for your
course, it's my
input.
pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And look,
I
you're in the best hands. You're in the best hands on this stream. I have no doubt that Austin will steer you in the right direction. So good luck to you, man.
Cool, man. Hey,
All
and
right,
drop
thank
your
you.
link in the comment whenever you want, just to promote your channel.
Okay,
Thank you,
cool.
Mark.
Will
Take care.
do. Thanks, Austin.
And
You too. Bye.
welcoming Wes, by the way. And Wes, I muted you because it was a little bit noisy there. Is it better?
You tell me. I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Is everything good? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay. It's a little bit of, I tell you what, when you want to say something, Wes,
Got it.
put your finger up because I'm getting some weird sound. Okay. So, okay. Now, Submariner. Okay. So that's the Dream Watch right there. And would it be pre-ceramic or ceramic or
Pre-ceramic.
Okay. So
I'm happy with used.
So
old.
yeah. Okay. So again, we keep adding to it. But here's the thing. If that's, we can come to a watch where it's like, okay, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. And that would be a pre-ceramic sub. And look, if you've noticed the way we've gone, it's like we're dragging him up the price,
up the financial scale. Yeah,
exactly.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to pay until before the stream ends, so it's fine. No, but we're just kind of going through and we're looking at things. And what I'm going to do here, let me jump back over to the other tab. We lost Marco. I don't know if he's coming back on, but if he's not, thank you for coming on, Marco. And let me just pull back up Rakuten and just see what the prices of pre-ceramic subs are going for. Now, what sub would you want? No date or date?
Either's fine.
Okay.
Man, I'm happy with either.
Okay.
But I would definitely hate in the long run fiddling around with the date. You know, once it gets to the end of the month, man, that's going to be a pain in the ass. And I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes.
I'm happy either way.
Cheaper. Okay. So just to get an idea on what these are going for, and of course, like all Rolexes, these have been going up, and even that 1002 has been going up. A couple years ago, you could get a 1601 date just for 2,000, right? A couple years ago, I want to say back when I was in Fukuoka, so that was like 5 years ago, but still. What we're doing is we got to scroll through this, and we're looking now at pretty much the cheapest Submariner right here, and that is,
and all these things on Rakuten. This is tax included already.
Yeah. Right. And so, looking at this one, for example, we're just choosing the very, very cheapest one. That is exactly 2,000 more than that brand new date just.
Yes.
Now, just to look at this is a Y serial, so this would be 2,000 or 2000. Yeah, 2002. Okay, and it's going to have well, it's a 14060M, so it's going to have the newer movement. My guess is that this is not going to be box and papers, but let's just check. Yeah, I think it's got a box. Okay. So this is a pretty quality watch. Now, this could be, or would be for you, a grail.
Yes, it would be, definitely.
Okay. So this would, all things being equal, this would satisfy you more than.
It definitely would. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Good size, 40 mil. That's good for my
Yeah.
hands, for my wrist. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a beautiful watch. Absolutely beautiful watch. Now, this is a one and done. And so if it was me, I would, and this is just what I would do. Okay. Because you've identified what you like, and I've never been a fan of settling. I would set your sights on this watch. Okay. And I would start saving. Okay. For it. Now, here's the thing. If by the time you save, will the price have increased by 1,000 or 2,000? I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. Like, if you've got 4,000 to work with, you're going to need, you're going to need another, like 6. Right. And
Right.
so if that takes 5 years, by the time you get it together, you go back to the store, this may be another 2,000 more. And so kind of time is of the essence.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I never thought about it that way. I mean, I could save and I could be there in about a year and maybe 2 years time.
I would say,
I'm just so eager to get something now, though, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to enjoy life while I'm alive. I could be dead.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I know, but don't do that. Don't rush. Because this is going to blow your mind. The other one's going to blow your mind for like a week, and then you're going to think, I kind of wish I had that. I think Wes wants to say something. So,
well, would it be, an option for him to grab something that you were showing earlier that was in that 34 to 36 mil range that is budget friendly, that he can use for his channel, create some content around that, enjoy it, get a feel for it, and then move that watch on, and then take that equity into a new watch? And I know it would be a placeholder, but I think for his channel, that might make sense for him to do that. Okay. I get the grail status, and that's what he really wants, but this is a conscious move. I think that's something that you can do, and knowing that you want to move to a Submariner at some point, I don't think that's totally out of the question. And maybe you can tell me reasons and pitfalls to doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he could do that, but here's the thing. I think the 34 millimeter that he's looking at, the 1002, I think that's going to be a lot harder to move than this watch. Okay. It's selling for $4 at a gray dealer, but if you try to go to a gray dealer, they're going to rip you off on that watch, buying it back, because it's not really a desirable watch in the same way that this is. Okay. Now, here's what I would do. Now, let's say if I had any, if I had any sort of savings, right? And I, and I said, well, I don't really want to touch this savings. Okay. I would quote, borrow from myself. I would borrow that, and I would just get this watch now. Okay. Because like I said, the prices will rise in the future. Okay. And if you were to do that and then start paying your money back into that savings account or something like that, if that's possible, then what you'll find is by the time you finish paying it, it might be a couple of years or whatever, this probably will have gone up. Okay. So, a lot of people will say, Rolexes are a bubble and this and that. Now, I think the pre-ceramics are really safe. And if you can do a kind of a risky move, so to speak, or like, borrow the money, that's a bad word for it, but at like a low rate or something like that, and you were to get this watch, it would make sense, because this watch, I think, is going to go up in the future. And it makes, put it this way, if this is what you want, ASAP, as soon as possible, is better. Okay. So any other watch, I mean, you'd never say that, using like a nest egg or something to buy a watch, that's insanity. Going, borrowing money to buy a watch, that's insanity, except when you're talking about Rolex watches, because like I said, they're going up. Now, I will add this to it. this right here is never going to lose value. It's just going to go up. So, it is like turning that money into like a bank account on your wrist, right? You keep having your $978,000, right? You keep having that. And you can't say that for pretty much any other watch except for, a few. And so I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm just saying that if it was me and this was my grill and I identified this grill and I had access to that money, even though it was financially, quote, irresponsible, but I had enough of a cushion under that I could live while I paid it back, I would jump on that watch tomorrow. Okay. That's just what I would do. Now, as far as this version goes, this is a 14060M. It's a 2-liner, beautiful minimalist dial. It's Y serial, which is, post 2000s, got the Swiss-made Luminova. You'll be able to take this on vacation. Just don't lose it, right? Don't go to any dangerous places with it. It's got the original bezel insert. Look, that Fat 4. And it comes with a box, but no papers. The cheapest one, this is great. I mean, now, it's not great compared to like a couple years ago, but I want you to remember this, okay? I want you to remember this moment. We're looking at a watch, Submariner 14060 at $978,000, okay? Whatever you do, I want you to remember this, and I want you to come back a year later. I want you to get on Rakuten. I want you to put that in. You will not find a cheaper price, okay? So I'm just saying that's why it's probably better to move on this watch now if you've identified it. But it's a big move, and all of a sudden we've gone from 4,000 to nearly 10,000, and I feel like a salesman. But that's just what I would do. So, any response to that, Mark? I know I feel like a salesman. Like
Wes and you both have good points. He's telling me I should just look for something cheap as a placeholder just to tide me over until I can accumulate the money. And you're saying just go all in and just go for it. Only got one life to live. I mean, they're both good answers. Damn,
could you
pull it off? A middle ground somewhere?
There's not a middle ground. Well, yeah, there is a middle ground.
The middle ground is that I should just save just a little bit more, get the
brand new Datejust.
No. I'm at a brain fart right now. The Omega Speedmaster Professional, and just see if that would tide me over, just to not even dip my feet inside of the Rolex game. But man, I would like to have at least one Rolex, just one.
This would be your one and done, man. But anyway, that's another option, and you would be able to add just a little bit and get your Omega grill. But here's the thing, and I really do feel like a salesman here, but the thing is, those Omegas will not increase in price to will, and so if you're going to pull the trigger on one, you obviously want to pull the trigger on the one that is going to go up in price, because if you don't pull the trigger, it will go up in price. And that's my whole point. Look at this. It's got the serifed little bits here, the Swiss made dial, and it's got the serifs, which that's a beautiful picture, by the way.
Mark, I'll say one thing. I think the one thing that I've learned too, and notwithstanding YouTube content, the one thing that I've learned is patience does pay off if you have to take a little more time to acquire that watch. I think Austin does have a point. If you're trying to create some content around it and use it for your channel, then by all means, there might be a reason for it. But if it's a personal purchase, I think Austin has a point. And even if you have to put in a little more time, there's no shame in that. That's certainly how I had to approach it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, don't do anything too stupid, as in like, you don't have money for rent or food after you buy the watch, right?
Like buying one of these without asking Austin first.
What is? Oh, well, hey, nice pickup there. I don't know about that watch, do I?
I think you do.
Anyway, that's a separate thing. Okay, so yeah.
All right.
All
right. The whole thing about the finances is that I guess I have money to get this now, but then, well, I don't want to put it out there like that. I do and I don't. Like, I don't want to dip into savings that I have there as a safeguard for the future. Like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years because of this whole world situation or anything.
Right.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident about my job. I don't think I'm going to lose it within the next 2 years, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that I did happen to lose my job. You know, I got money set aside that I can live off of for like 2 years or something like that. But then if I was to spend it all on this watch, then you know, my safeguards would kind of be removed in a way. It's like gambling. So
right.
I'm not sure if I'm willing to gamble.
Look, at the end of the day, we're just talking about watches, and I'd hate to say, yeah, you should get it, because if you lose your job tomorrow, again, that could be bad, right? But if you could get this watch and then have enough to live on for 6 months,
yes,
I would get it. All right, I would get it because it's not like it tanks in value the second you walk out the door. Okay, so it retains value, and like I said, it's going to go up. I don't want to belabor that point. Now, if you take it back to a gray market dealer, they're going to rip you off. Okay,
yes,
for it. Okay, if you wanted to or could sell on, you know, eBay or through these sites, and man, those scare the hell out of me. So I don't even know. I've never sold a watch in my life, and I'm so afraid of getting ripped off that the idea of like selling a Rolex on eBay just terrifies me. But I'm just saying,
yeah,
if
I
you
put this up
could
on Chrono 24, how much would they rip me off? I'm kind of setting the price, but they're going to want their commission.
Right. So that's not an ideal situation, but you'd be able to get out of it pretty quickly. And I'll just tell you now, if you ever wanted to sell it and you got in a pinch, you could come over to my channel and I would advertise it and stuff. And man, I've got a lot of viewers and stuff like that. So I would, I would let you do that. But I guess the thing is, if you don't get this watch now, in 2 years, you'll probably look back and you'll see the prices and you'll think I should have gotten it. And I made the same kind of decisions when I bought things like this. Okay. Yes. And now that it's passed and I've sort of put that money back into the savings account, do I regret it? No. I mean, that was like the best decision. I paid seven for this. If I had waited, it just, so whatever seems like a bad decision now in 5 years could be actually like brilliant, assuming that the prices continue to go up, and maybe they will, and maybe they won't. And some people will say, you know, Austin, this is a bubble. I totally disagree with that. You know, I thought that these watches here, the GMT Master 2 would top out at about a 10,000, you know, but they could continue to keep going up. And I'm surprised because it's like, they're good watches. I don't think anywhere 15. But if things continue, then I think you can expect them to go up. And I just think that's one factor you need to look at, because this time is of the essence when it comes to Rolex watches. And we're looking at and have identified what I think is your grail. And I don't think the 1002 is, I don't think the Datejust is. I think those they would make you happy, but I don't, you've already identified what would really do it for you. And I think it's this watch. And I think I'll leave it there. Guys, we're approaching a little over an hour, and I think I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm going to give you the last word, Mark. But Wes, I'll give you the second to last word.
I think you've given fair advice. I think that watch would be a great purchase. And like you said, yesterday was the best day to buy it, and you won't go, you know, it'll be a investment, you know, sorry to call it that, but like Austin said, it will be easier to you know, get out of that watch if push comes to shove. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And I think that's the right way to go, is to get the watch you really, really want, if it's that personal decision.
Thank you, Wes. Take care. And Mark, any last words for you?
Wow.
You got a lot to think about.
Yeah, so much to take in today. You guys are giving me some great advice. It's just at this point in time, I have to mull over it and really seriously think about it. And as soon as I get off the stream, I will crack open the safe and take a look at how much I really have set aside inside of there. If it's enough, it might be my signal. If it's not enough, then yeah, who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you do have some things to think about, and hopefully this will give you some food for thought. And going forward, you have my personal number, so we can continue the chats back and forth if you want to ask a little
Right.
bit more about this watch.
One more quick question. If you're
Sure.
going to buy used, would you usually buy it online, or would you go inside of a gray dealer? Do you know any good shops within Tokyo that I should be looking in for this sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to set aside a day, we could do that together. I could take you around Nakano. So what I usually do is I identify the piece that I want on Rakuten, and oftentimes it's in Tokyo, and then I go and see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a great piece we're looking at, by the way. I'm just saying, because it's
I did the same thing with the Oyster Perpetual.
Right.
Man, and then I don't know, 34 mil. It could be a good watch because it's kind of so thin. It's kind of like almost like a dress watch piece, and maybe it's not going to be so bad on my wrist when I'm wearing it with a dress shirt and my suit, and I should be looking at it more from that angle and not me in a polo shirt, short sleeve. And
maybe. I mean,
maybe I can get something cheaper, even more vintage, like really old and shitty, like a patina, and I can appreciate it like that. Just appreciate the vintageness of it.
Right. Yeah. If you're some people can appreciate that. For some people, it's like, hey, a Rolex is a Rolex and it makes me buzz, whatever it is. And to an extent, I'm like that as well. But I've just never been one to settle. Right. And again, I think I've always said in my videos, identify your grail and go for it as long as your grail is within reach. And I think this is within reach. If I ask you what your grail is, because you keep putting it on, and I said, what's your grail? And you said something like a Patek with multiple functions. I'd say, okay, well, that can be your quote grail, but to me, a grail should be somewhat realistic. And you've identified the top, right? I mean, you don't have to go any more than this, right? It's not like you're going to get the money together for this and say, oh, well, now I want a two-tone, right? And then now I want a all gold. You've sort of identified what would make you 100% happy, and it's within reach. And you just have to ask yourself if you want to reach that far. For me, it's a no-brainer. I would either, if I didn't have the money, I would save for this, even knowing that it would go up in the future. But if I did have the money, I'd jump on it. Right. But as far as, going forward, Mark, you've got my number. If you want to go and I forgot to say this, when we go into Rakuten, if you go into Nakano, then to see one of these watches, you can also look at other places, because you can probably find some ones that are even a little bit cheaper than this, because I think Rakuten's a little bit more expensive. Sometimes to put their pieces on Rakuten, they have to I guess they're Rakuten points or something. And so to offset that, they have to make it a little bit cheaper. So I've actually gone in and I've seen one on Rakuten that was a certain price. I've gone to see it in person, and it was $300 cheaper. Okay. So I would identify the one you want, go into Rakuten, and then sorry, I keep saying that, to the watch shops, and then hit the other shops, because they're all together. I'd be happy to go with you if you want to check that out. But until then, you got some thinking to do, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm definitely cracking open the safe the moment I get off this thing, man. And I'll look inside of there and make a judgment about whether I buy one now or just keep saving. But
all right.
Hey, man, I will make a decision.
Thank you so much for jumping on. I had a real pleasure talking about this with you, and be sure to promote your channel. It's Gentleman
Masterclass. Yeah, it used to be called the Gentleman's Club, but there's some that name just that's not going to go over too far. 2021, even if it's not a Monger's channel, it was not a Monger's channel, but just that name, the Gentleman's Club.
Was a good name, but the new one's good.
I should change it to something a little bit classier than that. So.
Well, keep in touch, Mark.
Men's lifestyle channel. Check it out.
Yeah. And keep in touch. And as you're looking at whatever you're looking at, again, feel free to contact me, because you've got my personal number and stuff like that. And,
I'll do that. And I'll have to get your line so we can stop texting each other.
Absolutely.
Probably
Yeah.
paying like micro. I mean, it's really small amounts, like a penny for each.
Exactly.
Each message we send. So I should go ahead and try to get your line from you.
Stop paying for those dates. Put that money into the watch fund.
Yeah.
I watched that video
Count
of
those
yours.
pennies.
I love that video. Why I'm done dating
Yes.
older women. And I remember thinking, that's the advice I'm going to tell them. Stop paying for those expensive drinks. Guys, check out that video. That's a entertaining video. I love that. But take care, man. Thanks for jumping on. And
All right. Thank you.
good luck.
Definitely. Thank you. It's been a lot of help.
All right.
All right.
Peace,
Salute
man.
to you guys.
Take care. All right, guys. So thank you for watching, and drop a comment in the comment section. What would you do if you were Mark? I feel like I gave him good advice. A lot of people would look at it and say it's kind of reckless advice. Dipping into savings to buy a watch. I mean, that's insane, right? But it's not insane when you're talking Rolex. All right. And this is a beautiful watch. Is it going to be going for more in a couple of years? Almost certainly. But is Rolex a bubble? If so, it could be disaster. I don't think it is, but a lot of people do. So any advice would be awesome. Drop it in the comment section. As far as tomorrow goes, I probably will get up early before we go to the pool, me and my daughters, and we'll talk about something, hopefully. If you see a random stream, cool. If you don't, then I guess I won't do it. I don't know. I got to think of a topic first. No, we will do it because I got to talk about the video that's going to drop in like the next 3 minutes on my other channel. Big announcement when it comes to OPs. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next live stream.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Let me know what you guys think down inside the comment section. Were they steering me inside the right direction, or should I stick to my guns and just try to get something super cheap and entry level as my first watch, just to kind of tip my toes into the water? And when I do have the money where I could easily spend without having to worry about the future, then go ahead and get that Submariner. But I feel like I wasn't as concise inside of that video as I really wanted to be. I mean, there was a lot of guests on. I was having audio issues and things like that. I didn't really get out everything that I wanted to say. I mean, I did in a sense, but at the same time, I didn't get it out as concisely as I wanted to say. So the first watch that I was looking at in store and that I'm really deeply considering buying was a 34 millimeter Oyster Perpetual, which you guys already know from the video. I got very thin wrists, 16 centimeters for my American family out there, 6.3 inches. And just wondering, even if this watch 34 mil is even too small for me, maybe it's not, maybe it's just that I'm not used to it. The things that I'm looking for that I want it to be on the dial, of course, it can be potentially cheaper. I could probably save about 100,000 yen if I make some sacrifices to the things that I want. But first of all, let me tell you the things that I wanted when I was considering buying that particular watch. First of all, I like the black dial. Black dial was my number one. White dial was my number two. And then kind of like a champagne burst dial was number three. I'm willing to accept any of those. And I wanted it on the dial to say Oyster Perpetual. Either date or no date is fine with me. And the bezel is really, really, really important. I didn't want a fluted bezel, and I don't want a Jubilee bracelet. I just want the regular Oyster bracelet, and I want a smooth bezel because I like the simplicity of the look. It speaks more sophistication to me, and it says Rolex more than these very shiny things. And aside from the bracelet, there was something else that I wanted to say. Yes. At the bottom of the watch, I wanted it to be COSC. I wanted those words, superlative chronometer officially certified, to be written on the dial itself. I'm not a big fan of just the word precision written there inside of that place for the ones that are not COSC certified. But if I was to get one that said precision, and I was to make some, I guess, a sacrifice in that regard, I could probably find one for about 100 1,000 yen less, which would save me quite a deal of money, and I would be getting an entry-level Rolex for very cheap, just something that I can wear around. It's not going to bring me any pain to buy that watch, and I think it is something that I can appreciate, but I'm just not so sure about the size, but maybe that's just because I'm not used to it. But, you know, if you have bigger wrist than me and you're saying that a 34 mil watch might be okay for you, then I don't understand why it might not be okay for me. Maybe it's just me. I'm going to leave some pictures at the very end of this video of me wearing this watch on wrist. And even with as skinny as my wrist is, you guys let me know what you think about it. Does it look too skinny on me, or do I need to go with something bigger? Anyways, time to close out this video. I thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Austin Daniels, again for bringing me on. Everybody out there, salute to you wherever you may be out in the world. And as always, gentlemen, you guys know what to do. Keep it classy.